So after a few weeks, I had to talk to one of my really good smart buddies, machinist, mechanic, and I couldn't figure out how I was gonna separate this part of my crank from this part. I couldn't use my 20-ton press. I had to make a spreader. So that's what he told me. He's like, build a spreader. So I welded up a spreader. I didn't have the full thick plates, so I ended up welding smaller plate to thicker plate and making the V groove so it can fit over my bearings. And I ended up having these 4 bolts here separating on this side, but then it was starting to push it apart on an angle. So I said, well, I need to extend this plate. So I welded extensions from here to here and put bolts and nuts here so I could also spread there. So as I'm separating it, as I'm opening up this bottom part, I can also keep cranking up this part so that I squarely open or separate this, as this cheek here is one piece, one pin all the way to the center of this one. And I don't want to bend that pin, because if I bend that pin, well, then this cheek is no longer good. I would have to get a new one. So this is for my Mach 1 700 triple Pro Stock Pro Mod drag sled. And the reason I'm having to take this apart is because this seal right here and the bearing behind here on this side are both finished. So instead of sending it out, I decided got the tools and I'm going to press it all apart. I already have all the bearings and seals. I have this bearing, those 2 bearings, that seal, these 2 bearings, that seal, and those 2 bearings. I already have all of those. I just have to press it all apart, put it back together. It's going to be tricky because I've never rebuilt a triple crank before. I did one. I've only done one, and it was my son's MXZ 670, which was 180 degrees apart from one crank lobe to the other. These are all 120 degrees apart. But thankfully, I have my crank jig here that I've used for at least 20 years, and I've trued many cranks. I've changed a lot of outer bearings on cranks and then trued them perfect to a thou or under a thou. I usually try to get to under a thou. So that's not a problem for me, but pressing apart and pressing them all super close and then truing it is going to be my little challenge here with making sure that they're all exactly 120 degrees apart. And I just tried this and just cranking this up and a little bit with my impact down here, and that pin is already coming out like no problem. So this is definitely exerting at least 6 to 10 tons of pressure separating this part of the crank. So yeah, my little crank jig is gonna work no problem.